Is it obligatory to fulfill the rights of someone who has wronged us? And what are the limits in such situations? Okay, so the people who have rights over you, either they're going to be family members, or we're talking about legal rights in the Sharia. Family members, your spouse, your parents, your children, your siblings, or it could be someone who you have a contract with, whether it's an employment contract or you know, you've hired them or something like that, they've hired you. So in Islam, the way to understand it is basically أعطي كل ذي حق حقه. Right? Give everyone who has a right their right. So if they've wronged you, keep that separate in your mind, and if they are owed rights, keep that in a different department. There's a concept in the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la darar wa la dirar. That the wording literally means there is no harm and there's no reciprocating with further harm, but it's a statement but with the meaning of a command. Don't harm people, and then those who have been harmed should not harm in retaliation with further harm. There's the taswiyah in the Sharia where you can match them. Like if someone swears at you, you could potentially swear at them. You could use those same words, and that evens it out. وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا. The recompense of one bad deed is you can do a deed like it in return, a bad deed in return. So in some situations, but when the wronged person takes things too far and they end up harming that other person or those connected to them in a way which is much worse than the harm they received, then here the mazloom, the initial wronged party, becomes the zalim as well. And we see this a lot. Seen people who have genuinely been wronged by someone, but then they go and up the ante and retaliate in a much worse way. So what happens, instead of on the day of judgment, instead of them being able to say, oh Allah, this person wronged me, deal with it, what happens is that zalim will be dealt with, because Allah is just. And then this mazloom who became a zalim will also be dealt with. So such a person does not make things easy for themselves. They make things very, very hard for themselves. And this is how it works. So if you owe rights to someone, a common scenario is, say, parents wronging their children. If it happens, fulfill their rights. If it's someone else who you owe rights to, like in the Sharia or legal rights, fulfill those rights. Do your part, what's due on you, and don't be a zalim in retaliation. And you will see this, that people who are fair will say, okay, I was wrong here, I should have done this, or this was my fault. And this is one of the ways where they actually get closer to Allah, right, through this beautiful quality of fairness. But a zalim who wrongs people, that's not a good situation to be in. Neither is it the case of a mazloom who then goes and retaliates with something much worse, right? So like someone scratches your car, so you go and you slash all the tires, you smash all the windows, and you burn the car or something. That's not proportional, right? And the higher way is also, sometimes to not respond. Yeah, I'm not saying be there, as a punching bag for someone. That's not the case. But sometimes in certain situations, it's better not to respond and, to forgive. If it's not going to lead to further harm, obviously, this is general, and each situation you address on its own merits. But that's the way. So, going back to the question, how can Muslims fulfill the rights of their parents? No, that's not the one. It's this question. Going back to this question, it's not coming up. Anyway, yeah, is it obligatory to fulfill the rights of someone who's wronged you? Yes, because they're two separate avenues, and the Sharia will, the Sharia will distinguish. So a person will be asked about what they did and what was done to them, right? I mean, the intelligent person does what they can to stay safe on the Day of Judgment. So go through each day and try to do what you can to stay safe on that day, and you'll be okay, inshallah.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله